What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Daryl D TV. And this is another comic haul video. I think it's been a little while since I've done one. And quite frankly, the biggest reason is because I haven't even thought about doing one of these videos lately because I've been bringing comic books into the house and I end up either filing them away, reading some of them, or basically putting them away. So I know there's probably a good 10 books or more that I've put away that I completely forgot. I don't know where they are. They're filed away that could have very well been in this video, but they aren't. So we'll just kind of visualize what some of those books maybe or may have been. I know I finished a couple of very short runs, and some of them I've started reading. Now that the weather is getting cooler here in Phoenix, I tend to read more when it's cooler because I have a little bit more energy and I'm able to sit out on my patio and read with the natural sunlight, which is my favorite way to read comics. So the books that I want to show you is from every place that you can think of. Some are from comic shops. Some are I bought offline. Some are newer retail stuff. Some are from the cheap boxes. I am going to try to remember where I got these books because I would love for everybody to know the names of some of these shops, if not all of them. I know I'm not going to remember everything, but you get the picture. You know what I'm saying. So there's a nice little stack. So let's just get started, shall we? Okay, so just today. Oh, I forgot. There's some other books that I just realized I bought. I'm gonna go grab those real quick. Hold on real quick. Okay, sorry about that. Let's do this. These are, I'm glad I remembered because these are really, really cool in my opinion. What comic shop did I get these from? Oh, so this first few comics is from Greg's Comics out in Mesa, Arizona. So, I was looking on the table, you know, the new comic books, the latest ones. I just kind of scanned and I saw this one book, and then I looked a little harder and I realized that it was an homage, I hope that's the right word to use, of some rap albums. So you remember when Marvel was doing that some years back, they were kind of doing the whole rap cover thing. And they were all right, but I'm not I don't think I read anything on Marvel or DC right now, anything new. If there's anything on either of those book companies, it's old stuff. I'm talking 60s, 70s, maybe some 80s stuff, but I see this one book. Which book was it? Yeah, it was this one. So, and I do a double take and I go, oh, okay, I see what they're doing there. And I didn't pay much attention to it. I'm like, oh, they're doing that whole thing again. So then I picked it up and I flipped through it and I absolutely loved the art. So I go, And then I saw that, who was in there and kind of what the story was. And I go, I got to pick this up. And that book is called Illuminati. And that's, this is issue number 3. So if you know rap music, like I know rap music, and you know funk music, like I know funk music, you know that this cover is basically Redman. There's a Dark Side album cover. It's kind of a homage to that. And then you know that the Redman album is the Maggot Brain album from Funkadelic. So I saw that, and like I said, I don't, jump on these little what do you call it? These gimmicky kind of, comic things that go on. But I really like the art. In fact, let me break this open and just show you guys some of the art here. Now, Illuminati, like the ILL Illuminati, is about basically the Black Illuminati in Hollywood and everything that goes along with that whole, all of that business or whatever. So, let me see if I can find something cool in here. I don't want to show. I want to show you something cool or some cool art. Let me find. This page is pretty cool. So this is what it looks like, and it's basically about a woman who goes to Hollywood to become a singer, and she ends up dead. And then her twin sister goes out there to look for her. And the story gets interesting and kind of goes from there. So when I saw that, I asked, I always forget his name, the guy who works at Greg's. I asked him, hey, do you have issue number 1 and issue number 1 and 2 of this? And he goes, I think so. He goes over to the rack and he gets both copies for me. So I was able to get all 3 copies. So before I put that back, let me show you what number 1. This is number 1, which is the cover for DMX. Sweat of my sweat and blood of my blood, if I remember correctly. Let me get a little close up of that. And then you have issue number 2, and that's the Ice Cube Death Certificate album cover. So they're pretty cool. Like I said, normally I wouldn't have jumped on something like this. I didn't jump on any of those Marvel books. Just wasn't my thing. But it's the story and the art that really captured me on these. And in the back they show you a picture of what cover issue number 4 is going to look like. And I think you know what time it is as far as that's concerned. Those who know. Put it in the comments if you want to, and let those who don't know what time it is. And this is only like a 5-issue run. So two more issues and that'll be done. But I thought this was really cool. Some of those Marvel excuse me, books went up in value. I got a feeling that this one at some point may do the same thing. If nothing else, it's just a really cool hip-hop collectible, rap collectible to have in your collection. If nothing else, I think it's pretty cool. All right, let's keep going. So I heard there's oh man, what is his name? There's a black-owned comic store in LA. I think they just opened up. I don't think they've been open any longer than a year or something like that. And I can't remember. It's Joe something. Oh, I can't even remember the name of the store. I apologize. But the owner was talking about some books. He was talking about the new comic books that were out. And he was talking about one book in particular that he was really enjoying. So I thought, I hadn't planned on picking it up at all. I did see it at Dreadnought Comics a few days ago when I was in there. And, it didn't, nothing jumped out at me. But then kind of, I heard him mention it, the guy in LA. But it still didn't, move me So I was looking for actually another. I was looking for some other comic books that I'll get into as we move along. But I went to this store today called Surprise Comics, hoping to find some of those books that I was looking for. And Surprise Comics is like way out. It's like 45 minutes away from where I live. I've only been there one other time. Nice store, but you know, the store is like half comic books and then half everything else, like posters and cards and toys and all of that kind of stuff. But I didn't find anything that I was looking for there. And it's ridiculous as this sounds. It's not ridiculous. Wanted to leave with something, but I was in a really big hurry because I was on my lunch break at work, and my lunch went a little longer than I anticipated, so I wanted to grab some. I didn't want to leave empty-handed. I saw this book called Gehenna Naked. What is it called? Naked Aggression. I have no idea what this book is about, but the cover looked pretty cool. So I grabbed that because I didn't want to leave empty-handed. So I ended up getting, I think this is issue number 4. Yeah, so I ended up grabbing issue number 4, issue number 2, and then issue number 1. This is an Image book. I have no idea how many issues will be in this run or if it's an ongoing thing. I have no idea. At some point, I'll have to take a look through there and see what's going on with that. Not sure of the storyline. It looks like it could be pretty cool. I hope the art looks okay on the inside. I really should have checked it. This is one of those stores that even all of the new comics, they bag them up. So, you know, I kind of, if a book is bagged up, I don't really want to pull it out just to look through. And if I get desperate enough, or if it's an older book, then I'll ask at the counter if I can take it out or if they will take it out for me. But anyway, I didn't bother to do that. I just had some money in my pocket and then thought I'm not leaving without going home with something. So this is what I picked up, these 3 issues from, what was it? Surprise Comics, out in Surprise, Arizona. We'll see what happens with that. I can't remember where I got this next one from. This is Lucky Devil, number, was this 4? 4, right? Number 4. This was a recommendation from a good buddy that I can't remember his name. I think his name is Andy or something, out at Greg's Comics. He recommended this to me, and I've been picking them up, but I haven't, you know, got around to reading any of them yet. But I'm being told now the buzz is that it's a really good read. So I picked up number 4. I have no idea at which one of those stores I did. I am positive that I talked about this creepy book on one of my Corbin videos, so I won't get too far into that. This is number 43, and this was one of the last books, Corbin books, I needed from the creepy series. This is creepy number 140. I am not sure if I showed this book or not. I should have checked. But we'll just leave it here, because I could definitely show this in a Corbin video. But since we are here, we are here. This is the last book from Creepy that features Richard Corbin. Y'all know me and my Richard Corbin, issue number 140. And this is just the Corbin cover. He doesn't appear anywhere on the inside. This book was a nice little penny. I don't remember exactly what I paid for it. I picked this up definitely at Champion Comics, Arizona comic book capital of Arizona. Phil is the new king in town. My description, not his. He's a very humble, gentle human being, but I'm calling him the king. Anyway, pick that up over there, and now I'm done looking for Creepy, featuring Corbin. Here's a book. Oh, I got this at this had to have been from Champion Comics as well. This is Epic. This is Winter 1980. Flip through there. It's got some excellent art in this book. Can't wait to read this one. In fact, I just picked up a magazine box today, so that was cool. This is Spirit number 3, another Warren magazine. Oh, so that Epic book I picked up, it was in the dollar box at Champion Comics. So was this Spirit. Now I have a copy of this Spirit, but I bought this. I'm going to end up passing it along to a buddy of mine. Now, I'm not into the Spirit, as a whole, but this book, these colors are actually Richard Corbin colors. So he actually did the coloring for this cover, and I think some inside stuff too. So I'm going to pass that along. Found that in the dollar box. This was another one. I forgot. This was some kind of indie fan type magazine. It's just called X. Let's get a closer look at that. X, and this is, I guess, some type of old sci-fi book, or I think it's a fanzine. And it just, a lot of different ads, and articles and sci-fi other books and stuff that's for sale and all of that. And I just thought it was cool. So and it talks about a lot of comics in here too. I thought it was cool, and I figured, let me pick it up. 9 times out of 10, I may pass this along to a buddy of mine, somebody who's interested. And so those came from Champion Comics. Now, here's one. The one thing I absolutely love about Champion Comics, I am sure that I've said this on a video before, is they're the only show in town that has 50-cent comic books. Not only do they got like 10, 12 boxes that they keep stocked, and they have lots of brand new books that are still on the shelf. Books that have only been out a few months, 6 months, a year, a few years. So a lot of these brand new titles that I'm picking up, or these short runs I'm finding, have come out of these boxes, as well as dollar boxes from other stores. But I got to get over there every once in a while and hit those 50-cent boxes, because there's like gold in there. I found some great stuff in there. And I'm not a condition guy. Big deal. You got a little bent corner on some new release, they'll throw them all in there for 50 cents a piece, and I'm all over it. So I want to show you some stuff that came out of there. This one is called, this is that Epitaph. I don't even know how to pronounce this word. From the Abyss, a horror comic, if you will. You guys have seen that. That's not you've seen that. This is a newer title. I think it's only been around a year or so. I'm not exactly sure. Does this even have a issue number? I don't see anything. Anyway, so I picked that up. That was in a 50-cent box. I don't know how this got mixed up in here. Oh, I'm going to show you this in a different, show you that one in a different video. There was a, let me get this one out of the way. This is another Epic. This is Epic, December of 1983. This is another one. I don't know where I found this. This is like a really bash copy. Wherever I got this, it was $1. But I don't remember exactly where I picked this up from. This may very well have come from Champion Comics. I don't recall. Okay, back to Greg's Comics. So they have like a magazine box on the shelf, and everything in there is $1. So I just picked up some stuff that looked kind of cool. One of the things I picked up is issue number 5 of The Last Ronin. I'm not a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guy, but the art looked cool, the story looked cool. Somebody told me this is a really ill read. So I'll definitely check this out. I'm sure I won't chase it or anything like that, but it was $1, so hey. This is issue number 1 of Jimmy's Little Bastards, I guess. Aftershock, $1. Here's issue number 1 of Rogue State. I think I got another one of those in here. Or don't I? Maybe not. Okay, never mind. This is issue number 2 of The Lion and the Eagle. This is issue number 4 of The Lion and the Eagle. I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with these brand new comic magazines that are $1. Why they had a big box of $1 mags, I don't know. I don't care. I just love it. So here's is this oh, book 3 of Rogues. Am I saying that right? I passed English, but it wasn't like I passed with flying colors, so whatever. This one is, I don't know if this is a one-off or not. This is called Somna. Somna? A bedtime story. Oh, issue number 2. It's right there on the back. I'll take it. For $1, I will take it. Okay, let's keep moving. We're probably almost halfway through. So, I saw this video on Instagram, and Kwame, rapper Kwame was being interviewed, and he was asked what are the top 5 best comics out there in history. The top 5. And he said his first choice was Kingdom Come. Now, I never heard of Kingdom Come. I don't know. But he said it's absolutely the best. The best ever. Okay, whatever. I think his second one was what was that Batman book? There was a Batman book, the one that Frank Miller did. I can't remember what the name of that book was. But Batman, Frank Miller, I'm sure a lot of you guys know exactly what book I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Help me down in the comments. Straighten me out, please. That book I actually have. He also named Hulk, World War Hulk. He said it was a really, really ill book. What was the other one? What was number 4? World War Hulk. Oh no. I cannot think of what. The last book he mentioned was the Superman versus Muhammad Ali, which I finally own, which I showed you in a previous video. And I cannot remember the other book, because there's 3 of those books out of the 5 that I have. Kingdom Come, Batman. Oh, it was what's the Captain America book that Captain America was black and it took place before the actual Captain America? I think it's called Truth. I want to say Truth or something. And the Truth, my homeboy Paco out of Chi-Town hooked me up with that whole run several years ago, and it was a really, really cool read. I thought it was very cool. So I know 3 out of the 5 I had. So I sent that video to the same homie Paco, and I said, what do you think about this list? And he got back at me. He was like, man, this list is dead on. dead on. And then he went into some details about why he felt that was a strong 5. And so, based off of his reaction, his response to the question, I decided that I was gonna go and grab the Kingdom Comes and the World War Hulk books. So, I grabbed. I think this is. I don't know if this is. I think this is issue 1 of Kingdom Come. The issue numbers are either on the back or inside. I don't remember. I do believe that's 2, and I do believe this is 3. So I think I'm looking for 1 and 5 out of that group. And I bought these 3 off of eBay. The Kingdom number 1 and number 2 also came with those 3. I don't know how closely related those are. I'll have to do a little bit more research. I'm not a big DC guy, and I'm especially not a big DC guy if it didn't come from the 60s or the 70s. So, but I'm still looking for Kingdom Come number 1, 2. No, that's the Kingdom. I'm still looking for, I think, 2 issues from Kingdom Come, and then I'll be able to read that one. And okay, let's move on. So I'll have to come back and let you know how that was or what I thought about that. I picked up the Joneses, issue number 4 out of 5. I now have completed this run. I got this from Dreadnought Comics right down the street. I did pay regular price for that. The other 4 issues, I got them out of the dollar box. Either the dollar box or the 50-cent box. One of the two. So that's what I love about those dollar boxes, those 50-cent boxes. So now I can finally read that run. I've been slowly picking up King Kong, The Great War. That's issue number 2. I think I got issue number 3 or 4 that I've shown on a previous video came out of a dollar box somewhere, or a 50-cent box, one of the two. This came from, I want to say this came from Ash Avenue. Big ups to the homie Drew over there. I do believe this came out of his dollar box. Actually, no, it didn't. This came from Dreadnought as well. And that was a regular price. So I'll still be picking those up. I only have, I think this is only my second, maybe my third copy from there. Now let's go over to Drew at Ash Avenue. Out of his dollar box, I picked up issue number 3 of 4 issues of Black Tape. Loving the art in there. Definitely looking to complete that run. Issue number 2 of Eat the Rich. Issue number 1 of The One Hand. Everybody that I've discussed this book with said it was a great read. So I'm definitely looking for the rest of those. I actually bought this twice. And it was before I went to Ash Avenue. But I wasn't sure, you know how I think I have this. But let me grab this just to make sure. So I have 2 copies of those. Also at Ash, I picked up issue number 5 of Bronze Faces. Another book I'm following. Another recommendation from my homeboy over at Greg's Comics. I'll get to it one day. What else did I get out of there? Oh, here is Crosswind number 1. I'm not exactly sure where I picked this one up. It had to have been, I think it was, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where I picked this one up. But this run is now completed. So I have every issue of that. Looking forward to getting into that. Here's another King Kong, The Great War. This is issue number 6. Man, where did I get this? I don't remember. Sorry, guys. I don't remember where I got that one from. This is one that looked really interesting. This is issue number 1 of The Madness. That's a 6-issue run. I had to have picked this up because I looked inside of it. But I don't know where I got this. And I'm not sure. I believe this came from... Oh, I believe both of these came from Drawn to Comics in Glendale. And I do believe that this came out of the back issues at Drawn to Comics. So, yeah, big ups to those guys over there. They have some decent dollar boxes. This is issue number 5 of Out of Alcatraz. I have no idea where I picked this up. Some of these new books that I'm actually following, I'll just pick them up wherever I find them. You know, this could have came from Samurai Comics too. I'm not exactly sure. It's probably where that one came from. Wow, where did I pick this up, man? This is a newer book. I think I picked this up at Drawn to Comics as well. This is issue number 1 of They Chose Violence. You know I had to get this 70s theme blaxploitation type movie with the cover. I had to. I'm looking forward to this. I don't think I have ever looked inside of here because Drawn to Comics is another shop that they bag and board all of their books before they hit the shelf. So I definitely didn't get to flip through that. And I also picked up issue number 2 of They Chose Violence. So, yeah. That'll be cool. Let me go back to a few freebies I got from Ash Avenue. This is like a, what do they call it? An ash can of Deluge. I'll check that out. See what that's all about. And then this is another one called Voyeur. I don't know if I like the name of that. That's a word that anyway. So I'll check those out. Oh, this is a super cool one. So check this out. Only recently, when I say recent, I'm last maybe 5 years, did I really realize how many comic books were in other countries, in the languages in these different countries. And I've always wanted to have one. It just one, you know, at least one in my collection. And I gotta give it up to the guys over at Fantastic Worlds Comic Shop in Scottsdale, Arizona. They do this con called the Old Man Con, and it's out of a hotel out there in Scottsdale, and it's just a room full of books. That's like, it's 95% books and maybe 5% everything else. But you talk about some deep crates out there. Some of the stuff that I love, you know, the most has been at that con. And if you look at my Old Man con videos, and Old Man Con is like the nickname for it. I forgot what the official name for it was, but it's just a lot of guys like me who just love those books, love just, you know, none of the fancy stuff, none of the bells and whistles, just the straight books. And there was one vendor, I never saw so many vendors that had foreign books in there. And there was this one vendor, they had a huge amount. I mean, there was like maybe, I don't know, maybe 15 boxes of foreign books from all over the world. And like I said, it's not like I can read any of this stuff. I just wanted one in my collection. I wasn't going to make a big deal about it. But, man, I think the cheapest book I saw in there was like $15. And then they went up from there. They were 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks, some of them. And I wasn't going to spend any kind of significant money just to say I have a foreign book in my collection. So I kind of, it wasn't a big deal. But just recently, I was hanging out at Polar Bear's Pop Culture Shop, like the illest toy store for action figures you've ever seen, out there in Scottsdale, Arizona. And owner and entrepreneur Jason just up and hooked me up with this foreign copy of Daredevil. Now, if I remember correctly, I think this is book number 187. Let me see. 187. This is Daredevil 187. Check that out. As you can see, it doesn't have like the little Marvel thing. And then even the box right there is like completely different than what I've ever seen. And the book is like way wider than like a regularly sized book. So if that's a regular size, see this hanging out, it's like a lot wider. Sort of almost like the same measurements of some of the older what do you call them, underground comics. You know how they used to make those a little bit wider. But this is cool. This is from Barcelona, Spain, from Daredevil, and I don't think it has any ads in the book at all. Well, no, there's one page, and then they even printed on the back cover, some of the story back there. So I finally have a foreign book in my collection. Thank you to Jason out there at Polar Bear's Pop Culture Shop. Big ups to him and James. They making it happen, ruling Arizona with this action figure thing they got going on. Big ups to y'all. When y'all in Arizona, make sure you stop down there. Tell them Daryl D sent you. They do have a bunch of comic books in there too. They specialize in all of the Godzilla, the wrestling action figures, the old school Transformers and He-Man and Mego figures, all of that stuff they got in there. The old Star Wars stuff. It's a great store. Tell them Daryl D sent you. All of the horror stuff. They sell records in there. Yeah. Tell them Daryl D sent you. We can go down there. All right. Back to... Back to the books. We're almost done. Thank you for hanging out with me. This is a book. I got this out of a $1 box or 50-cent box. This had to have come from Greg. This is a one-shot called Soldier Stories. And it's like a little thicker. It's like this, the thickness of the old school annuals that they used to have back in the day. And this is like 4 stories about war. And they're based off of real events, like actual events that happen. These stories are really, really pathetic in the sense that it just shows you the corruption of the United States government, the sacrifice of life that, the government sent these guys into, and what happened. There's even a regular story with no art in the back about, one of those Dear John stories where the soldier gets the letter from his woman and she's basically breaking up with him and moving on, and now he doesn't know if he wants to kill himself or not. One story in particular, let me find the story. One story in particular that kind of caught me, it's called The Great Man. And what caught me is it says written by Reverend William J. Bellamy. And I'm like, And so, a Reverend doing comic books? Now, I read this whole thing before I realized, and then went back and did a closer read and realized that, these are all based on real stories. So this guy, he was in the war, but he... long after he got out of the military, he You know, he became a reverend. So he was like a photographer, and he was like writing a film, this, that, and the other thing. And when he got out, he kind of like just kind of lost his way. I think he had an alcohol or drug problem, or maybe both. I'm not exactly sure. He came back to the United States and was dealing with a lot of crap that the government puts a lot of us through. But he got called to go to, I believe it was LA, I believe it was. And he was the guy who took that famous picture of Nelson Mandela. And that's where some of you guys might know. I'm trying to get this picture. That picture right there. So that was the guy that did that. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I enjoyed all of these stories. And I just thought they were stories at first. The first one is a trip where this guy's whole entire team just straight betrays him and uses him as a guinea pig. But before it was all said and done, he got a little revenge on them. I like revenge stories. But it was a sad read at the same time, just based off of the fact that this was true. These were all true stories. So if you get a chance to read this, it's a one-shot book. I thought it was great. I thought it was a fantastic read. So I think one of these books is, I picked up a book that was from AWA. I cannot remember what book it was. I mean, I can't remember what issue it was, but it's a book called Out. And I think I definitely picked it up at Greg's Comics in the 50-cent box. Flipped it open, love the art, 50 cent. Why question it? That must be one of the ones I put away somewhere. But I definitely was looking for that run. It's only a 5-issue run, and I was at Dreadnought the other day. Another one of those instances where I went in, I'm looking for a few things in particular. They didn't have anything that I was looking for, but I was not going to leave empty-handed. So I was searching through those back issues, and I found issue number 1 of Out. It looks like some kind of war or stories. Looks like there's Nazis in here or whatever. I don't know. But I picked up issue number 1 there. Get a closer look at that. And then here's issue number 5 of that. So, yeah, I picked those up and I paid regular retail, which was basically just cover price. Sometimes it's a little difficult to pay regular retail for some books when you found some of those same books, different issues, same title in a 50-cent box or in the dollar box. So it's like sometimes I have to put on my list, hey, you paid, you got these out of the cheap box. Don't pay retail for them. But sometimes, you can't leave empty-handed. So I bought both of those books out of Dreadnought. And then if we want to go back to the whole Kwame story, I found issue number 2 of World War Hulk. Number 3 and number 4. So this is a 5-issue series. These 3 I bought it in a lot off of eBay. And so then I was in Dreadnought and I found number 1 that I paid a lot more for than I wanted to. But then I realized it's not the actual number 1. This is a prologue, whatever, how, number 1. So this wasn't the number 1 that I was actually looking for. And then I actually did find issue number 1, and I do believe that one also came from eBay. And if my memory serves me correct, the seller who sold this to me on eBay, when I opened it up, he also threw in for free this Heroes Inc. Presents Canon, some old school book. I never heard of this. Amazing Adult Adventure, 15-cent cover, Wally World 1969. Anybody recognize that book? Anybody tell me anything about that book? They threw that in for free. So big ups to that seller. Finally, we're at the end of this list of books. It could have been longer if I hadn't been paying attention. I could have shown you a few more. But that's it for right now. I'm going to try to remember in the future that when I go out and I buy a nice little haul, to keep them set aside so I can share those with you guys. All right? We 40 minutes in, 40-some minutes. Thank you guys for hanging out. That's all for right now. This is Daryl D. I will see you hopefully sooner than later with another comic book haul right here on Daryl D TV. Till then, you guys stay safe. Peace and love.